Hello, everybody. Welcome to bowl game season. The regular season and the championship games are officially over. The college football playoff bracket has been announced, and the championship games, apart from the Iowa State game, went pretty much as expected, in my mind. As I said in the past video, I was not expecting. I would have liked Iowa State to win for Iowa State's sake, but I do think Arizona State will represent the Big 12 better in the playoffs. I did not, however, expect nor want us to get blown out like we did and really just shoot ourselves in the foot. So that was a bit of a disappointing end to the season, but overall, a great season. Anyways, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through all the bowl games, and I'm going to tell you what I picked. I'm in a bowl game pool, just a straight up pick-em pool, and I'll tell you what I picked. Most of these are purely based on vibes, especially the games with the teams that I don't know anything about. But that's what makes bowl games fun. I'm not a huge bowl game guy in terms of what they do for the sport, especially with how many players opt out of them nowadays. But regardless of the politics of the bowl games, we've got a lot to go through. There's like 38 or something, 41 maybe. So this will include the round one for the college football playoffs, but then at the end we'll go through the bracket and I'll kind of break down what I think will happen. So let me get this switched over to our trusty bet stamp, and I'm going to pull up on my other screen here the picks I've made so I remember them. So first up, Jackson State at South Carolina. That's this Saturday. So bowl game season is interesting in that it spans over like 3 or 4 weeks. But I don't know much about either of these teams, Jackson State versus South Carolina State, and it looks like it'll be a toss-up. Some of these no-name games, I just went based on the odds, and this one I just picked Jackson State. Some of them I picked the shorter odds, some of them I picked the longer odds, but I don't have a read on this at all, and I probably won't be watching it at 11 a.m. this Saturday. This Saturday at night at 8 p.m. Central Time, we've got South Alabama and Western Michigan. For clarification, I did just go through these games for my pick and pick based off of vibes without looking at the odds, and then I went back a second time and picked based on odds. So I know one person who watches these videos is in this pool, so hopefully they don't use this as research, but if you do, good luck. I think she won last year already, so who knows. But I did pick South Alabama for this one. So minus 7-point favorite, but who knows? Like, these spreads really don't mean anything to me. Or not to me. They sometimes don't mean much. These bowl games are really random. Memphis, West Virginia, a Tuesday game. So I can watch this during finals week to round off my Tuesday night. And of course I'm going to go with West Virginia here. They're 3-point underdogs. I don't know much about Memphis. I think they were the ones that blasted Iowa State last year in the Liberty Bowl, I think it was. But I'm going to root for the Big 12 team here. That's a lot where a lot of these biases are going to come from. Wednesday, 4:30 is a weird time. I don't know where James Madison is though. Western Kentucky, and I picked James Madison for this one. I feel like when these touchdown favorites, you just gotta go. But as you can see, some of the big name books like DraftKings and FanDuel don't even have odds yet, so who knows. Cal and UNLV. I picked UNLV for this one. I don't know much about Cal, but I do know that Iowa State played UNLV like 3 or 4 years ago. Obviously, way too long ago for it to matter anymore. Team's completely different, but for the reason that I know UNLV, I'm picking them. So, unfortunately, the analytics of bowl games for me is not very in-depth, but I think that's more fun that way. Oh my goodness, did you hear that? Someone just fell down, I think. This one, Thursday, at least there's a game Monday, Tuesday, or not Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm surprised. This will compete with the NFL, but I don't know who's going to be watching this. I don't know anything about these teams, literally, so I went with Georgia Southern. So, the Ohio Bobcats. I don't know much about Jacksonville State, and if you follow Iowa State, Ohio is a terrifying team, and we have a lot of history with them. So I'm picking them because of what they did to us last year. Perks that they're a 2-point favorite, but I don't think that really means much. That's still a coin toss, but I'm picking them. Go Ohio. This is an interesting one. Tulane, I always think is like a fun team with their kind of Cinderella story last year, but I don't know much about Florida. I just know they're like pretty mid of their conference, I think. I don't even know that. That's a guess. But, there's not many books. But they all agree that it's almost a 2-touchdown favorite. So I picked Florida in this one, even though initially I wanted to pick Tulane. This one, who knows? I mean, I think I picked Indiana for this one because I think they're hilarious with how they've been cruising this year with their like unbeaten record up until recently. I think, right? I don't know. And I just dislike Notre Dame. Sorry. I know, who is it? Someone in the comments is a Notre Dame fan. Sorry. It's not a reflection of you. I just have some high school people I knew in high school who went to Notre Dame that I'm not fond of. And Indiana's an interesting story, so I don't we round out their season. But Friday night game, so hopefully I can watch it. This one will be interesting. This is a playoff game, isn't it? Yes. So, I have Penn State probably smacking them. Yeah, these are the playoff games. Round one. I didn't watch the SMU Clemson or really keep up with many of the games after the Iowa State loss this weekend. Iowa State was nice at 11 a.m. and could really just ruin the start of my day. Not actually, but I kind of stopped watching football because I didn't really care about any of the other championship games since they didn't really have too much impact. The Big 12 was really the only one that was like, you win, you're in, you lose, you're out. So I felt like it was more on the line. But I think Penn State will win this. I don't know much about SMU, but I know Penn State's, I think they're fine enough to win this one. This one I think will just, like Texas is going to just keep rolling. Honestly, I don't know how much there is to analyze here. I feel like every time Texas pops up, it's like, yep, they'll be fine. So, yeah, I think they'll be fine. Sorry. It is what it is. This one, again, it'd be cool to see some upsets in this round one, but and maybe that'll happen in the Penn State game, but I think Ohio State and Texas are the two that are like, yeah, they'll win. Who knows? Maybe all the pepper spraying got to them recently, but I don't know. I think Texas and Ohio State are fine enough to take care of what they need to do for the first round, though. Let's see. Was that only... let me see. Was that only... Oh, no. Indiana and Notre Dame was the first round, too. Yeah, I'd like to see Indiana win. That'd be hilarious. Sorry. Monday, moving on to the next week. More of the unknown bowl games. Coastal Carolina, and I don't know what UTSA stands for. Is that University of Texas San Antonio? That's my only guess. I picked UTSA because they have a fun name. Strictly on that. But the score helped. I did go back and validate that with the second pass, and I was like, that's a good choice. So, picked based off name, and their logo looks kind of cooler. NIU versus Fresno State. NIU is close to home for me where I grew up, so I picked them, and I thought it was funny what they did to Notre Dame, expanding on my Notre Dame disdain. But I picked NIU. I don't know much about Fresno State. South Florida and San Jose State. I picked South Florida in this one. So another 3-point spread coin toss game that I think will go the other way. I will not be watching this at all on Christmas Eve. I don't remember if the NIU game and the UTSA game are on December 24th as well, but I will not be watching football that day unless it's like on when we go out for dinner or something. Or no, we won't even be going out for dinner. I don't know what I'm talking about. Probably no football that day. And then get to enjoy Christmas. And then right after Christmas, get to watch Pitt and Toledo. So I chose Pitt. I don't know anything about either of these teams. Same day, I will try to watch this game though. 4:30, Rutgers at Kansas State. Obviously, I'm picking Kansas State with my Big 12 bias and just K-State bias. It's nice to see that they're a touchdown favorite, roughly. I don't even know what book this is. But regardless, the only thing I know about Rutgers is that they're in the really cool Big Ten intro video thing that goes across the country. I don't really know much about their football, though, so go Kansas State. I'm going to be a homer. Arkansas State, Bowling Green. I don't know much about these, and I picked Bowling Green because they have a better name. Their logo is not as good. The Arkansas State one's kind of sick, but yeah, I know nothing. But they're a touchdown favorite, so why not? This one I chose purely out of principle. That's why we're going with Navy to win this game. There's a saying about OU, and I'm not a huge fan of them, especially after they left the Big 12, and they've really fallen from grace in the SEC. Not that they were going to really be in grace at all, but, I mean, realistically, they'll probably win, but I'm picking Navy out of principle. This is the Nerd Bowl, I think. Georgia Tech versus Vanderbilt. And I went with Vanderbilt solely because of all the funniness they've done this year. So, Georgia Tech beating FSU at the start of the year, week 0, I think that was, week 1 or 0. It was funny at the time, but now in retrospect, seeing how bad Florida State is, I don't think it was too much of an accomplishment. So, go Vandy. Texas Tech and Arkansas. You already know how this is going. We're going Big 12, so Tech will take this game. Apparently it's going to be a high-scoring game, though, so it might be a fun shootout to watch. I don't know. Syracuse and Washington State. I have remorse for the Pac-2, so I picked Washington State. And they're a touchdown underdog, but oh well. Go Wazoo. Oh, man. We ran into an error. I'm sorry for the flashbang. That's Texas A&M versus USC. And I picked Texas A&M. So I don't know why that one's not working. Oh, are these all going to be broken? Oh, good heavens. Let me go back real quick and pull these back up. Sorry for the little delay, but now you get to listen to mouse clicking sounds. If it loads. So, these are more definitely like personal vibes, but I don't know much about football, to be honest. So, Texas A&M and USC. I picked Texas A&M. Sorry to the USC fan that also watches these videos. I'm really picking against everybody who watches these videos who comments their teams. I guess that was not on purpose. Then we have, the next day is UConn and North Carolina, because these won't load. Let's see how far we go to the BYU game. Okay, UConn and North Carolina. I never remember that UConn has a football team. I always think they're just a basketball school because they pretty much are. So I picked North Carolina because a basketball school can't win a football game. Boston College versus Nebraska. I picked Nebraska. As much as I dislike Nebraska, I picked them because of Midwest. So we've got TCU and the Raging Cajuns. This one was hard because I think Raging Cajuns is a fun name, but and Iowa State played them a few years ago. But, you know, Big 12, TCU. Helps that they're a 10 to 12 point favorite, depending on who you ask, I suppose. Can't believe this one got shut down. Iowa State versus Miami. I know Miami is decent. Obviously, we're a 4-point underdog. But, you know, who do you think? Everybody's got to pick Iowa State in this one. I feel like Iowa State still has a lot to, like, not prove, but they still have a lot of momentum. They're pretty happy. I mean, best season in school history. I hope that enough players still play and there's not a lot of opt-outs. We'll see. but I think this will be at least a good game. I hope I can watch it. It's the Pop-Tart Bowl, so at the very least it'll be entertaining. But I might be traveling at this time, so we'll see what happens. What is this one? 46. Miami of Ohio. I picked Miami of Ohio in this one because one of my best friends went there. So I picked them, and I don't know anything about either of them. I just know Miami's not super great, according to him. So that must mean Colorado State is even worse. So I picked them. Then we've got East Carolina and North Carolina. Now, or North Carolina State, apologies. From growing up, I always thought there was just a North and South Carolina, but the East Carolina that is newly formed has the Purple Pirates. So that's neat. They're 5-point underdogs, and they've got a cool logo, and for that reason, I picked North Carolina State, because I don't think East Carolina exists. So there you go. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Saturday, BYU and Colorado. This one is interesting. I don't care for bowl games being conference games, but, you know, it is what it is, I suppose. And as you may know from watching, if you've watched before, I do not care for Colorado, so go BYU. I'll take that. I don't know what bowl game that is, but oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Marshall and Army. I don't know how you can't go with Army in this game. I mean, they've been having a great season too. I don't know anything about Marshall. Go Army. 12-point favorites. The standalone game on Monday is the Iowa Hawkeyes and Missouri. Go Missouri. You know, us in Iowa don't exactly get along, so go Missouri. I don't really care for Missouri either, but I care for Iowa even less. I hate both of these teams, quite frankly. Michigan less so, though, but realistically, I think Alabama will win. Michigan, after last week, you know, they're whatever. Yeah, I don't really care. I'm not going to watch this in the slightest. I've got better things to do on New Year's Eve day, but I think Alabama will win this. Louisville and Washington. I think Washington will win this. I just like the Huskies for no other reason. Just vibes. South Carolina and Illinois. Being a homer from Illinois, I know a lot of people who went to Illinois. Not huge fans. So go South Carolina. Helps that they're 11-point favorite. Baylor and LSU. Again, Big 12. It's a nice 3-point toss-up game. I'm curious to see how much these lines move, if any, once more books start putting out lines for them. Some of the more reputable books, but because this is a long way away. 3 weeks? They've got time. Duke and Ole Miss. We're coming to the end here. I picked Ole Miss because they're a 14-point favorite. It's hard to pick against that. North Texas, Mean Green, and Texas State. I picked Texas State. Mean Green is a sick name, but I've already submitted my picks. This is going to be a shootout like no other if the total is actually 68.5. Stay tuned. January 3rd. The round 2 games are prior to this, I believe, so I don't know when the final games are, but Minnesota and Virginia Tech. I picked Minnesota. It's close by. That's neat. And the last bowl game, the Buffalo Bulls and the Liberty Flames. So I picked Liberty. Sorry. These are toss-ups. Analysis got kind of shaky there at the end, but I really don't know much about any of these teams. And to finish us off, so obviously round 1, we have Ohio State winning, or I have Ohio State winning, Texas winning, Penn State winning, and Indiana winning. Regardless of what happens, we'll move around. So I've got Texas. I should have drawn on this, but I've got Texas, Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State, and I think that Oregon will win against Ohio State in this matchup here. Then in this matchup, the Texas versus Arizona State game, it's kind of terrifying. I'd like Arizona State to win, quite frankly, but I don't think they will. I'd love to see a look-ahead line for that, but who knows. This game, I think, if SMU wins, I think Boise State has a chance, but if Penn State wins, I think they'll win. Honestly, I'm not too convinced how good Boise State is. I know they have Ashton Jeanty, but, being a group of 5 school is harder. Regardless of Indiana or Notre Dame, I think Georgia's going to win this. I think that's fine. So we've got Oregon. I'm going to put Arizona State out of hope. So Oregon, Arizona State. We'll put Penn State and Georgia. So picking the favorites is real fun, right? So then if Oregon, I think whoever Oregon plays, Oregon will win, especially if it's Arizona State. So Oregon will be here in the championship game, and then I think Georgia will be in the championship game. I don't think anybody from this bottom bracket is going to make it to the championship game. If I'm wrong, that'd be great because it means it's more entertaining. But then if it's Oregon and Georgia, I think Oregon will win. Obviously, very easy to pick the 1 seed all the way through and have the 1 and 2 seed be in the matchup for the championship game. But I don't know. I think Oregon's just another level. Maybe Texas. I think the left side of the bracket is a lot more interesting than the right. But we'll see. Picking Oregon to win it all. And that wraps us up. A little bit of a longer video, but when there's 41 bowl games plus a championship, new playoff to go through, there's a lot to review. So probably won't make any more football videos this season. Obviously coming up to a close. I hope you've enjoyed watching these videos. If you've been one of the regular viewers, I appreciate that. And let me know who you have for some of these more interesting games, how you think the playoff will go, and things like that. We'll see if we pick up any other football type videos here in the future, but I will let you know. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and enjoy your bowl season, enjoy your holiday season, and I hope to see you around the channel. Peace out.